problem with the Jags is the running game. And the running game isn't an issue with good backs. I think, again, it's funny now hearing them say it. I get crushed on my viral videos that go because I don't talk about Trevor always is nice, but I say ETN isn't a good running back. He's more of what I would consider a slot back. He's a back that he's a slot that can run.
But Alvin Kamara comes to mind when you say it.
Exactly. People were acting like I made up a term. I'm like, you know what I mean. He could catch out, get him the ball in space. He's actually better. The other guy is much better running back. The problem is, and with both of them is, they do something that my position coaches hate. My position coaches said no running back is worth 2 fumbles. If you fumble the ball, put on all your pads, buckle your chin strap up really, really tight, run to the top of the stadium, and jump. You're worthless. That's what he would say. And I knew the season was going to be something crazy when I'm watching us get ready to not just win a game, like really make the game not winnable for the other team. And he just a simple, like, the guy doesn't even do a good hit. It's not even a good punch. He just pops the ball out.
You're talking the Travis Etienne fumble against Miami.
Yeah, I was like, it's too crazy. It's like that's too easy. And then Tank, I'm like, okay, well, I like Tank. I like the way he runs. Then he starts fumbling the ball down the stretch. So give me, when that happens to me, you know what I like? Give me some new guys.
Listen,
in his defense, that was Travis Etienne's only fumble of the season, and it did come in the first week of the season. But that's a rough one. And it's the hardest one to come back from.
14-point swing, if I remember correctly.
And you do remember correctly. I'm going to say this, though, James. You're going to have to eat some cake because you late for the chicken wings in this party because I've been talking about Tank Bigsby fumbling the ball since 2 years ago, okay? I'm with you on that. That's why that's one of the reasons why my favorite pick, I don't think it's the best pick necessarily. My favorite pick was Hines-Allen. And then, of course, Bashaw Tootin getting drafted. Like, this is a dogfight at the running back spot. So it's obvious they're doing something to address it. You're in favor of that, I assume.
I like Tootin. I got a chance to watch him in a game where he beat them, but it didn't show up in the box score. I love when Miami loses. But they didn't. They played Virginia Tech. Tootin was doing very good. Quint, I like him too. I like Tootin because he came through the ranks. HBCU, he shows why NIL and transfer portal isn't as bad as what everybody thinks. He shows a guy that can kind of go through and does what he needs to do to be able to prove himself. I also like LeQuint because you got a guy that went from like 200 yards rushing his freshman year to consecutive 1,000-yard rushing season. And what I really like more than anything else is his touchdown output went from 9 to 16. So like those are like you got to be able to score. And I think both of those guys provide that. It's also a league that devalues running backs. So the reason why you're bringing these guys in is because, hey, we're not picking up your 5th-year option. We're not paying you all this money until you actually show us something. And we're going to see what we can get out of these young guys because we're either going to shop you or we already know we're going to let you go. So I think that's kind of where that comes from. But I think I don't think both of those guys are going to make it, but I do think one of the two, and also I believe both are pretty decent receivers out of the backfield. So I think those are the things that you have to be able to do. And it was also crazy because you knew it was a run when Tank was in.
Yep.
You were pretty sure it wasn't a run when ETN was in, but you knew that they were going to try to utilize him in the past. It's good to have a back that can kind of do both. That makes it, unless you got Derrick Henry or Saquon, then it doesn't matter.
I mean,
right. They haven't been in pads yet, and I've already said to multiple people in the media, we've already had this conversation.
You've said it on this show.
On the show that Hines-Allen is the best pass protector on this roster already, and I don't think it's even arguable for me personally. Like, because it was Dearness Johnson, and I don't think it was close. I think he was easily the best pass protector on the roster. I just thought that ETN and Tank Bigsby both struggled at it. So I think he's going to have an opening just right there to get more snaps than most people think. Like, I think he might have in my personal book, a better chance of having more snaps than even Bashaw too, unless something happens with Travis Etienne. Like that's just kind of where I stand on that. And then you're talking about whether or not Tank Bigsby, who had his 4 fumbles last year, then talking about the fumbling issue. That's the other part with Bashaw too. He had that fumbling issue in college, and you want to see if that's going to, kind of correct itself with better coaching in the NFL. We'll see. I mean, it didn't help opening camp with the fumble, the only fumble that I saw actually from the running back position with no contact. And you're fumbling the ball in camp. That's problematic a little bit, but so I'm hoping it works out.
Definitely don't want though. And the problem I have with ETN too is again being a no. And it's not because he's a Clemson Tiger. It's because for 4 years, he didn't even leave early when he had a chance. He stayed. He came back to terrorize us for 4 years. For 4 years, I saw him destroy my alma mater, demoralize us, run over guys, run through, around, dodge them, and do all kinds of deplorable things. To come to the Jags, and we have a hard time. He can't dodge a light pole. And it just, it bothers me, man. Like, what happened? Like, what? I thought we were getting that guy, and we didn't get that. That guy has not shown up yet, in my opinion.
He forced a lot of missed tackles in 2022. I don't really know what happened in that 2024 season other than the O-line. The O-line. I mean, being clear. But he did force a lot of missed tackles in that 2022 season. So I would like to give him the balance on that, at least give him some credit on that. Like, he was leading the league up there with Christian McCaffrey at that point in missed tackles. He just did it in a different way. Like, he didn't make it look like an obvious miss. It was one of those glancing blows kind of situations, especially when you got him in space. So I'm here to see that Travis Etienne rebound or return or whatever you want to call it with Liam Coen maybe giving some offense, building an offense that gives him space, gives him the ball out in space. That'd be great. Like Alvin Kamara, that would be a great situation. I think everybody in Duval would love that. And then whether or not they re-sign him, whatever happens at the end of that contract, they get the comp picks, whatever. That'd be fun also.
See, here's what I saw. Because I know, listen, both you all gentlemen are ball knowers. I get it. But you had to come in with your ball knowing right there when my dude James was obviously trying to heal from traumatic memories in the past. And you got to come and go, well, he wasn't that bad.
I feel it. Trust me, I understand. We all have biases. I mean,
I'll put it like this.
I had a bias for Travis Hunter at the point.
I've heard a guy that did a Heisman in the end zone at the stadium for the at the stadium where I went to school. Okay, like listen, it's okay. Granted, he also made the most athletic play I've seen happen in the bounce house with my work, by the way, for the black and gold banneret. But yeah, I get the pain. Just right. No, I'm kidding, man. But
Wrong hole Lenny got criticized, and all he did was give us 1,000-yard seasons. So I'm just saying, if you're going to draft a running back in the first round, whether it was the trading back in or like whatever, I think it was the last pick of the first round. Doesn't matter. We drafted a running back in the first round. You should have it because you're guaranteeing that contract. We should have better results because we could have got a guy in the second round and got better. It got similar results to what we've got from him. So
yeah,
that's kind of the real reason why I'm a little more harder on him than others.
Do you hold any angst? I gotta know because you are a former college and former NFL fullback. Do you have any sort of just frustration, any angst, any criticism toward the front office for not bringing in a designated fullback into this Jacksonville Jaguars season?
I hate when people say the position is dying. The position been dying since I played. That was 20 years ago. Like we clearly we're getting stronger every day. We're dying like Magic Johnson with the hips. Like
Jesus.
Here's what I tell people, and they say it every year, and only the good teams have them. The Chiefs shifted, but they have a designated fullback. The Ravens have a designated fullback. The 49ers have a designated fullback. If you really go through and you look at it, there are about eight teams that actually have fullbacks, and most of them are consistently good. in the run game. Again, the 49ers had one. I think they got rid of him.
Juszczyk. I was pounding the table for the Jags to get him, even as a 49er fan, but they retained Juszczyk.
Oh, they retained him. Okay, all right, cool. Now, when we look at tight ends, I want everybody who's listening to this to go look at tight ends, right? We see that most of the starting tight ends are about 6'4" and taller, right?
Yep.
But if you go look at the rosters, there's a 6'2" guy there. There's a 6'1" guy there. And they're about 245, 265. You know what that is? It's a damn fullback. That's all it is. They call it a move tight end now. And they just repackaged it, repurposed it. But the problem is you still got to put this guy on the field. When you put a fullback in there, you're making a concerted effort that I am going to be a man and I'm going to make America great again by running through another person's face mask. And the problem is when we decided as Americans that we want to be soft and tree loving bunny huggers and get rid of these great individuals, the deterioration of manhood happened. And I don't like it. A city whose nickname is the Bangham needs to have a fullback. And we actually had one. I think we had one a couple years ago. Actually, he was an Army guy. And it would have been perfect.
But he was wasn't he like a defensive end and a fullback, like some kind of.
They switched it around, but I'm just saying, come on, man, let's spice it up a little bit, have some fun, man. But and again, you can use a Juszczyk, you can throw them the ball. It's not a lot. When Greg Jones was here, Greg could run. Greg was a hell of a running back that got converted.
That's it.
Hey, I blocked for Greg in college. That's how crazy life is. But I think if the Jags had that, the toughness that they would need would be there. And it starts from the leadership. And the problem is everybody wants to spread them out, get 5 out. All right, I'm sorry if I talk too much because the game needs to be explained because people don't understand it. No, the NFL field is shorter, lacks the width that the college field has in theory because of the hashes. It's why the spread doesn't work in the NFL because everything is dictated by the hashes. You can spread it out as much as you want to. The hashes are tighter, and that's what's going to happen. So in college with them wider, you can dictate spacing, which makes you be able to throw the ball a little bit more accurately because all you can do is you can play spot ball. Wide receiver run, quarterback throws it to a spot, wide receiver runs to the spot based upon what the safeties or what the corners do, especially in the zone situation, blah, blah, blah. When you tighten them hashes, you can't spread me out. I'm not deviating from that. But what happens is now you bring another person in that can run routes decently like a tight end, but that sole purpose is to run through a person's jawbone. And it helps you. It helps blow things up. It can make a bad run play a good one because they're running full speed into the direction. And if there's no hole, their job is to create a hole. And I think that would make Etienne and Bigsby better running backs if they had a hole. Fournette would have been a better running back if he had a fullback that was charged, that was leading the way. Alvin Kamara doesn't need a fullback because that's not the type of running back he is. He's a shiftier guy. So, but that's old school thinking. But
as some of us who remember Lorenzo Neal and Mike Allstott in the same backfield, I hear where you're going, buddy.
I met Lorenzo Neal at the Super Bowl this year. It was so glorious. He is such. It was the most. It's on my YouTube. It was the most polite, violent conversation you've ever heard.
Polite, violent.
It was great. We were smiling, and we were we were talking. If you just mute us and look at me and him talking, man, they're living some fond memories. They've got to be talking about their grandmother's favorite meal they made. No, we were talking about ISO, and we were talking about hitting people, and we were talking about what it feels like when you actually get up under a defender's shoulder pad and you jack it up into their throat, and then you baptize them. Because what happens is once you're up here, You have absolutely no control over your body. You're going backwards or you're going to choke yourself. And then what happens is you gently lay them down. Well, not really gently, but you take them to the ground. It's just a phenomenal feeling. It's actually one of the top 5 feelings in the world. Wedding sex, laying somebody out like that, scoring your first touchdown. Those are like the top 3 moments in my life. And the more you can, I can't score my first touchdown anymore. I'm not having wedding sex anymore. And I can't hit anybody. But if I would relive the dropping somebody on their neck thing. It's kind of cool. But me and Lorenzo Neal were talking about that. It was a great conversation.
There we go. So, I mean, I'm just going to ask you don't see a world where they're going to use Brenton Strange as that mobile tight end type where they're going to slide him in the backfield.
No, Brenton Strange's job is to go find space and be there when Trevor overthrows the ball in the middle of the field and to make sure you catch it. Make Trevor look good as a safety valve.
We're gonna work on him. I mean, they working on his footwork. We're gonna see if it materializes that he can just get that ball lower and stop overthrowing folks in the middle of the field.
No he's got to dance with the lady you bring, no matter how she looks. Can't ditch her for the prom queen.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, this particular date has great hair. We'll give it that. Anyway, so with all that of like James, and it's funny because we're going into this and Travis and I are getting set up for the show, and he tells me that, hey, James says they ain't talking about the defensive line. Well, first of all, I do feel a little hurt. I did spend a little time on the defensive line talking about who's there and who they didn't pick is proof of how much they hated the old coaching staff and the rotation like it's a hockey team. But I'll leave by asking you this question first, and I will give you the floor to preach, even if you want to go full Episcopalian and testify. Do what you need to do. But why don't you think? Why do you think it is that we're not talking about the defensive line? What's happened to the psyche of let's say the fan base, the media at large, or the lexicon of the Jaguar football space? Oh boy, that was a deep breath.
I apologize, Kyle, if you've been talking about it, and I've been talking about it, but we're not what's considered the brass or the golden standard of Jaguar talk. I don't know if my beloved friend Anthony Wiggins has talked about it either, but what I do know is this: the station of the Jaguars doesn't talk about it. I do know this: the only news station in Jacksonville that talks about it is First Coast News. I don't listen to the other one, so I don't know if they talk about it, but I do know the fan base is not talking D-line talk. And a lot of it has to do with they probably don't know what the hell they're talking about, 1010 XL being that. But they're truly the fan station because fans don't know what they're talking about most of the time, and neither do they. Outside of Dempsey. I like Dempsey, but most of them don't know what they're talking about. But here's where I say things. And we have one guy that I really, truly feel good about. I don't believe he should have been the number 1 overall pick, but that's gone now. He is a good football player, though. Yeah, he's a great football player. You just don't, and this comes to the idiot, how stupid people are with the draft. Even the arguments that me and my beloved friend Anthony Wiggins got into, he might be able to do it. We don't know because he wasn't asked. And I say, you don't draft a guy number 1 overall at the end if you don't know if he can rush the passer. Like, it's not a guess thing. Like, what do we know Travis Hunter can do? Catch balls, and get interceptions. It's not a guess. It's not a Deion didn't ask him to do it. We have video footage of him doing that.
Video evidence. That's right.
But I digress. I like Trayvon. Trayvon is a good kid. He's working really, really hard. Now, what was supposed to happen is you draft him, and then the other side does good. This other guy does good one time, and then he does something that I absolutely hate. I don't trust men with 2 last names. You can't make you lack the ability to make a decision. Choose one and roll with it. That's what women do. Women hyphenate their names, and I don't like when they do it. But that's a woman doing that. Men, we choose one name. And what's crazier about this crazy situation is he didn't have 2 last names before. He decided that I got money, and now I want to have 2 last names. and now his defensive line play got confusion last year. That's what happened.
See, James, let me jump in. I got to defend my man a little bit because
man.
I hate hyphenated names. I am with you on that. My wife is a professional. I don't want to talk about where she at and dragging her business into it, but let's just see she's a professional who has a license. I said, hey, look, you don't have to take my name. If you want to keep my name because it matches your license still, keep your old name. That's cool. Just for the love of Pete, do not hyphenate. Now, she changed the name anyway and then proceeded to complain for the next 3 years as it took so long to get everything to go through. You know how that go. But here's where I protect the name change in this instance. It's different. Okay. And you as a guy who played a tough guy position. Me as a guy who played a tough guy position. Granted, not at your level. You see above me here, I have my Aaron Evans original painting of me in my semi-pro playing days, okay? As an offensive lineman, started 3 games at left tackle, all right? If a defensive end doesn't want his name associated with a pretty boy quarterback, I'm not offended by that.
Well, just make it Hines.
I think the problem is,
here's my problem. When the draft happened, right? I said they got trash Josh. Buffalo got trash Josh. We got the real Josh Allen. Boy, did I get that wrong? Like, he's not trash, but in comparison, he's nowhere near. To be honest with you, he deserves to be the real Josh Allen. He's played to that level at Buffalo. Yeah. Josh Allen has done it inconsistently, but those are the 2 bright spots on the D-line.
Sure.
Yeah.
You drafted a guy with the second in the second round that was a great high school recruit. Injury prone, but you knew that when you drafted him. But it was but shows all the stuff. And Mason Smith played in the SEC, all the things that you got that everybody talks about. I'm hearing about everybody else. What is he? Is he progressing? Is he going to be a guy that we should be looking forward to push in the pocket so that those 2 guys could actually get to the passer? Eric Armstead, what the hell is going on? I am tired of good people. Stop bringing good people to Jacksonville. Bring me a terrible person that could get to the passer. I'm cool with that.
Let's go.
My job is to be my son's role model. That's my job. Your job is to make my son cheer. Like, I don't need you to be Calais Campbell. Now, unless you're going to be Calais Campbell. I don't want that to walk to Peyton Man of the years that ain't getting to the no, I don't want that. That's the last, again, the only thing we know Eric Armstead did in Jacksonville was good for the community. But that's not why we brought him here. We didn't bring you here to uplift the community. We didn't bring you to be the MLK, Mega Evans, or any of those other people here. We brought you actually here to be a terrorist offense. That's what we brought you here for.
Bro. What was the number again?
Everything that you were saying.
It certainly wasn't for 61% of defensive end play. That's the number, right? It still blows my mind.
61% of his snaps were at defensive end in 2024. Yeah.
Which is why I'm really mad at them, because they shouldn't have got rid of Caldwell. Caldwell was the scapegoat. And then you brought in a guy that made him worse. And I said this. I said, it doesn't sound like he has enough. They wanted to shift to man coverage, right? But didn't have enough man corners. That doesn't make sense. Like, you have to fix your flaws in free agency. But again, D-line, you got Devon Hamilton's pretty good. Jordan, I just want to know what we're doing. There aren't any jerseys. The jersey guys are your DNs. All jokes aside. And when I say what people want to know, if you want to know if a player is good, ask yourself, when you go to Champs or whatever these stores are going, would you buy this jersey? And if you're not, then you don't have a guy. You don't have a guy there. And that's the problem. We don't have a guy that we're holding. We're not holding this side of the ball accountable because we're so excited about what the idea of what the offense can bring. But offense sells tickets, defense wins championship. Again, if nobody leaves with anything else, remember this: you will be successful in every aspect of life if you have good D and top. That's all you need. And we don't have good D or top right now. And that's bothering me.
Well, I do believe that every NFL team and every NFL fan base after that Super Bowl, after watching that total domination by that defensive front, in Philadelphia, everybody and their mama wanted a dominant defensive tackle, like dominant defensive tackle room. Like I don't need one, I need two defensive tackles, and they're right. Fans are right. Media are right to say this, but you could make the argument that, hey man, Eric Armstead was brought in to be, with the real coaching staff or a real general manager, he would have been brought in to be a solid 3 technique, exactly what we've seen him do on film in San Francisco. So now we know in 2025 that the Jaguars will be playing him at that position. You could reasonably assume, all right, cool. If that works out, you just play Mason Smith as your second and third round defensive tackle behind, Devon Hamilton. You play Devon Hamilton on that obvious run stopping down on first down. You play Mason Smith as your pass rush package guy, we'll say, as he develops and see how he's gonna develop in the run game. And maybe you cook him with something. You still got Smoot who can flip inside every so often. You got options there. Like, I can see the idea or at least the plan there. But we haven't seen these guys in past, so it's all just kind of theorizing what we think guys might fit until they tell us otherwise, right?
Well, really, like I said, it's all. That's why I'm like, nobody's breaking it down. The thing that aggravates me too about is, again, is the curse of Jaguar executives or coaches or players leaving to go have success at other places. And my guy Dave Caldwell, who I know we like, he's really one of the guys that's like, he does a really good job when you just allow him to do what he does well. And even though I will never forgive him for what is it, the sack guru, the sack master that had no sacks too.
Sackmaster did all right. Sackmaster did all right in what was it? He was in the Raiders 2024.
He did, because he didn't get nothing here. Matter of fact,
I thought he had like 5 sacks or something like that.
I remember with his last year with the Jags, he finally got a sack, and then he got a penalty was called. So they took it away. I was like, of course that's gonna happen. What did I call him?
Well, as the non-card carrying member of the Duuuval in the room, we're talking about Chazon, right?
Yeah, that's what it was. Clavicle
Chazon. Yeah.
Like, I would never say. I told Chris Porter, I'll say his name right when he makes a play that matters.
He played in 15 games. He played in 15 games. He had 5 sacks. He had a forced fumble. Like 2024, he ain't do bad as a rotational guy.
That's good. I'll tell you, he didn't do that at all. That might have been career stats in the Jags.
It was absolutely a career year for him.
10 Media Group's James Coleman. Tell the world where you can be found, my friend.
At Big Game James _36 on Twitter, IG. Den Media Group on the YouTube. We have Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, we do Big Games BS. A plethora of other different shows that we do on that. Big Games BS is where you can win. Every increment of 1,000 that we get over, we give money away. So when we get to, I think we're like trying to get to 7,000. Once we get to 7,000 subs, we will give away. We'll give away $500 to a listener of Big Games BS Live, $200 to a member. We get to 10,000. We'll buy season tickets to somebody's favorite, a pair of season tickets to somebody's favorite sports team. Most of them are FSU fans, so it's kind of easy. I have season tickets, so we can give you those pretty quick. But we try to give unique fan experiences along with unique perspectives, and everybody's able to come in as long as you can hold your own and it makes sense. We'll dialogue and we'll be able to have that. We love intelligent conversations. It's not just about sound bites, even though we do get a lot of sound bites.
Travis, tell the world where you can be found, my guy.
You already know. Travis D. Holmes on all the socials. And most importantly, BigCatCountry.com for all of our writing covering the Jaguars, press conferences, pressers. We'll be covering training camp once that starts end of June. So yeah, keep it locked in, man. But what can you be found, Nash?
So of course I am Kyle Nash, the steer of the game. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky at VSOTG. Of course, check out my ratings with the Fans First Sports Network covering your Jacksonville Jaguars as well as the Orlando Magic. Desmond Bain in the building. I wrote about that and why there may just be a little bit more hope despite losing one Cole Anthony and Contavious Caldwell Pope. Make sure you check that out, Fans for Sports Network. And of course, my work with the Black and Gold Banneret. Chad Mottola recently interviewed on the Night Shift podcast, by the way, UCF alum and Tampa Bay Ray batting coach. Make sure you check that out. My guy, Donnie Docs, Don Struble with that interview, blackandgoldbanneret.com, and of course, the Night Shift YouTube channel. So for my personal champion, Travis D. Holmes, James Coleman in the building doing a great job. Thank you, sir. Talking about intelligent conversations. You certainly brought that tonight. Thank you very much. And for all you out there watching and commenting, until next time, everyone, thank you